Guys doing this Sunday morning, 7:56 a.m. my time. Today's episode, man, it's been a while since I did one of these, huh? Kind of feel at home doing it, though. I tell you that. This one might be a doozy. For those watching on YouTube, though, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Instagram at HoodNerd1210. Today's episode, Boyce Watkins, Revenge of the Nerds. Now, even though this is going to be about the video Boyce did yesterday, this is also the biggest problem in the Black manosphere, and even at this point in time, and even in the so-called ADOS American community amongst men, just in general. So when I came into the Black manosphere and started listening, I go all the way back to Uncle Dave. What was it? The Chad Factor, Aquazy, when it was, well, now he's the brother of Logic and Common Sense. Painless Risen. You had all of these guys just maneuvering around, different takes on things. Thought process was different. But it was always thoughtful conversations. Always thought-provoking conversations, which drew me in. And that's the weird way the world works. It's because the guy who brought me into this space was a ex-co-worker of mine, Facebook buddy now, Mr. Jeremy Webb. Sent me a video of Uncle Dave. Probably was like, 6-7 years ago. And at that point, I heard him say some things and I was like, yeah, a little harsh, man. 95% of what he's saying, I'm on board with, but it's harsh. But as I got older, I should say, you start to look around the world and it's just like, why should he protect my feelings? We grown men. Should be able to say what he want to say. And if it's the truth, I shouldn't be offended by it. Why am I so offended by the truth? And that's when the soul searching had to start. That's when you fall deeper and deeper in the rabbit hole. So, with that being said, I've watched the manosphere basically dissolve into the dating game now. Well, all of these thought-provoking Black men, they just want to give advice about how to have sex with Black women. Either they hate Black women. A lot of them don't even hate Black women. They just can't date Black women. They're not accepted by the cute Black women. And this has been going on since they were in elementary school and high school, which is why this title in this video is titled what it is today. Because what I've started to see is with all the infighting is the so-called cool kids, they're being slighted. And I'm not keeping it PC today. They being shitted on basically now by the Black intellects in the Black manosphere. When at first everything was just come together for a common goal, now is you guys are able to have sex with the cute girls. Why don't she want me? I make more than you guys. Why is it I can provide and give her everything that she wants, yet she still come back to sleep with you? She'll marry me, but she'll always cheat on me with you. What is her draw to you? This is where you hear the Pookies and the Ray Rays and all of these conversations. And they say that's what Black women want. And that's not even really what Black women want, if we're being honest. They just want a confident man with some swag. That's it. And the nerds have never had it. Now, like I've always told people, some of my best friends are nerds, and I feel most comfortable around nerds growing up in the environment I grew up in because I don't have to temperature check a lot with nerds. See, when you're dealing with hood dudes and the so-called cool dudes, you always got a temperature check with them because you always need to find out whether or not you're dealing with a loose cannon or not. Whether when you out and that person that had a little too much to drink and they see 6'6", 280, 290 standing next to them, whether they're going to act a fool because they know you standing next to them. So with the nerds, we can just talk about stuff I don't know about. They full of information. So I'm fine being in that. I'm a sponge, so I'm fine being in that environment. They give it all off. They don't mind talking about comic books. They don't mind talking about life, politics, religion, spirituality, the way the world works. They fine with all those conversations. Now, when I need to talk about sports, that's where the record gonna stop and we going on to the other side. But that's fine. 90% of the information I'm into, I'm gonna get with hanging with nerds, video games, all of that. Now, had a conversation with my wife when I asked her, because you'll hear black women also come and say, oh, I'll accept the guy for who he is. And they'll say, why can't men accept us for who we are? But then you'll ask them, so if you meet a guy 15 years old and he's walking around high school with comic books and Ninja Turtle shorts on and socks, and he can still dress fresh to death, but he just come off as a comic book nerd, video game head. Are you interested? And you know what they say? No, that's kiddish. Why is it kiddie? Why is it kiddish? See, this is where it starts for guys like Boyce Watkins. It all starts in high school, which is where the black manosphere is stuck at this point, in high school. 50, 60-year-old men, 40, 50, 60-year-old men are sitting around having conversations about how to get women. And you should be married and have children at this point. What the hell are we talking about still? What the hell is going on that this is the topic of conversation now? And it's always like I tell people, when you grow up in the hood, they don't want to have these conversations. But 7 to 80% of the time, one of these guys been murdered, a woman is at the root of it. See, they'll tell you money the root of all evil. Amongst heterosexual men, now women the root of all evil. Men will do a lot of weird things when it comes to women that they like, which we're going to talk about with your buddy, Dr. Boyce, and his antics for the last 6 months. Because see, boys, this is bigger than what you're doing with Kwame Brown. This dates back about 5 years when you started. There's about 4 years when you started taking shots at Umar. And I ain't the biggest Umar fan, so I just let it go. But then when your wife, Dr. Alicia, came in, and then y'all started taking shots at Kevin Samuels. But see, I watched one thing with you, and it alarmed me. And I would have did this video maybe 6 months ago, but I'm glad I didn't, because now I can wrap a whole big bow around all of this now. At that point, I was furious watching you bring other women on to basically take the man's side so that you could do your wife's bidding and shit on Kevin Samuels and the points he was making. And I was saying, that's interesting that a man who screams alpha male all the time is taking his time now to shit on that thought process. A man who's now trying to promote that. And then the bell rung while I was watching it, and I heard your wife say something. And I said, oh, okay. She's doing the talking. She's the ventriloquist. Her hand is in your back, dummy. She's running all of this. She's making all the moves. And it became ever so clear as we're going to wrap all of this up then and there to now. It became ever so clear with this last video you did. But let me stay on topic for a minute. So I have a buddy, call him Deuces. We ain't going to put his whole name out there. Shout out to my little buddy Deuces. Very smart guy. Condescending asshole, just like a lot of nerds. But see, what a lot of guys now in the black manosphere are starting to say is they're antisocial. No, you're not antisocial. You socially awkward. You don't know how to communicate with men or women. And that's been a lot of their problems. That's why you'll see a lot of the nerds, they travel in tight groups. You don't really see them. They'll tell you it's other people don't want to hang out with them. They don't know how to communicate with other people. They're not socially developed to go out and hang out with other groups of people. So if you're not on their program, they're out. So I got a buddy Deuces. He's about 34, 35 years old. Graduated from UNC Chapel Hill. He's proud of his degree, and he should be, man. But he talks real tough, and he'll get real tough on the microphone when nobody is around him. Very condescending also. Because a lot of these guys, they're book smart, and they can regurgitate everything they've learned and put in that big brain. They don't really have great critical thinking skills. So me and him, we'll start with the beginning of it. Well, I first knew he was a little off. Because he started telling people, yo, I'll piss on your head, I'll kick your head in and all of this. And I asked him one day, I said, Deuces, would you talk like this in front of these other guys? No, but I'm not going to see him, so I can talk tough. No, young man. You don't talk like that to other men. That's not how you address men. That's not how you respect men. That's not how you talk to human beings, period. See, however the tone is you get with me, well, I'm usually cool and laxed. 90, 97, 98% of the time. But I talk to everybody the same, man. Everybody the same. And that's probably why I say, well, I'm not even going to go into that. I'm going to give the man at the gas station the same respect I would my best friend. But my best friend don't get a longer leash than that man at the gas station. When I've set boundaries, I tell you don't cross this line. You cross it, you out. That's why I tell you with my wife. The two lines I say don't cross is, yo, I'm not raising no other man kid if you get pregnant by him. And if you give me a disease that I can't cure, that's incurable, I'm out. Because for those I know, those are hard lines. You cross that, ain't no coming back. So you get a lot of these people, they'll set boundaries, and then the boundaries are, yo, if you cheat, this is over. If you do this, this is over. And then when it happens is, well, you don't understand. We got to talk about it. No. You set a line, we're going to stick to that. That's how I gauge respect for me. Whatever I set this line as, you cross it, the relationship is getting ready to change now. And it's not one of those, yo, you heartless, you cold. No, it's you have a lack of respect for me. Because if you say you respect me the way I want to be respected, if I've given you a line, you don't cross it. So we get back to Deuces. That was the first time I knew he was off. When he would just scream and curse at people and tell them, yo, I shoot you and do all this and this. Well, would you do this in person? No. But I don't judge because, I like ribbing Deuces and, we get some thought-provoking conversations at times. And he is a super intelligent dude. That much we won't take. But then we had a conversation about socialism. And before we get to the socialism part, I started to see certain things where he would say certain athletes, when we would talk about the athletes, yeah, they don't do their homework. They're dumb. If a rapper would say something, yeah, I don't know why you would listen to him. He's a rapper. Who died and made your opinion the opinion? But I still was rocking with him heavy till we get to the socialism part. And that's when it made sense for me with the nerds, the so-called nerds, the intellects, whatever you want to call them at this point, the educated lames. He was saying his utopia, the world he would love to live in, would be something where everybody got paid the same. He wanted true equality across the board. I said, see, that's not realistic. That's There's no way that could be sustained. And there's no way that's fair. He said, no, it is fair. He said, I actually, to take it a step further, I believe people should have ownership in any company they work for. I said, you got to be shitting me. There's no way you believe that. And then that's when it hit me. These kids never learned about competition. They are the ones now, them and their parents and wives are pushing the narrative of participation awards. They don't understand that in life, it's all a competition. There's always a winner and a loser. And when he was saying that, I was asking him, so what do we do for the person who creates the whole, they're going to create this company. They're going to do all the legwork. They've done 80% of the legwork. And they've come up with the whole concept for all this. So now they've come up with 80%, they've done 80% of the work. And you think it's fair for the other people who are involved to get the same amount of money? Yes, why not? And then it hit me again. Oh, I get it. You was the one doing all the homework in the group projects where you would get everybody an A, and all of the other people sat around and went and had fun, and we all got A's. Not we, because I do my work, but. And then it hit me. This is where the disconnect starts. This is where the hatred starts. For all of this, I see it now. This is where all of the resentment is built in there. This is why there's a lack of respect now. Because these guys feel like I've did everything you told me to do. I've lived the American dream. I went to school. I went to church. I listened to Hulk Hogan. I said my prayers. I ate my vitamins. Graduated. I'm $200,000 in debt, in student loan debt. Got my master's degree. I've did it all. And now I'm in my mid-30s. And where's my wife? Where's that beautiful queen you promised me? Why is she picking the dude who don't even have a high school diploma? Why is she picking the rapper who can't put together a so-called complete sentence? Even though, to the nerds, I would love to tell you this also. Rappers are some of the greatest poets to probably ever walk the face of the earth. And see, the one thing I've come to understand with the so-called nerd, the intellect, is if you haven't done it their way, you're not smart. Their way is the only way, which is why you also find out when these men get married, they're usually very violent, very violent. They're usually beating on women. And it's because they're socially awkward. They've never learned really how to be in a relationship with somebody. The women they wanted, they go off and they go get married. And they go have 2 and 3 children. And then they get divorced. And then they come back in their late 30s, early 40s. And before their sexual prime is over with, they come back and they find you. They come back and get you because they know he's been fiending over me for the last 20 years. Even at the high school, 20-year high school reunion, he's still talking about what could have been and what could be. You wouldn't have to go through this if you was with me. So, went on that 20-minute rant. And now we're going to start this video by Dr. Boyce yesterday. And what you'll hear in it is the disdain that he has for the cool kids. The hatred he has for the cool kids. But what he'll come back and tell you is, oh, I love my black people. And he's no different than the white bigot who says, I got black friends. Because I want you to listen. He'll tell you, oh, yeah, you should marry. I don't listen to athletes and rappers and the cool people because they really don't know what they're talking about. But then they'll come right back and say, but I got cool friends. Oh, I know a few athletes. Oh, I know this, or I know that. It's to not insult those that he hangs with. So we're going to go through all of this. And when it's over, you'll then understand the divide in the black community amongst men, whereas the cool kids are to the left. I'll even tell you at the end when I wrap this up how we can fix it. Cool kids to the left. You got the hood nerd in the middle. And then you got the socially awkward, educated, lame, black intellect on the right. But let's get started.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. I am sitting here and I am wanting to share something that's really on my mind. I've been thinking about this, and for a long time, I wasn't really going to talk much about it. But, you know, there's a point.
Now, in the beginning, you'll see already that was the first condescending remark he said, where he said, the home for intelligent black people. One question I would ask you, Boyce, is how are we gauging intelligence? So one could say, for a basketball player, if you don't know basketball, you're not intelligent to him. A mechanic could say, if you don't know what's going on under the hood of a car, because that's my passion, you're not intelligent to him. Again, who are you now? What made you and what made your voice the one to decide what's intelligent, what's not? I always tell people this. There's no such thing as a stupid person. I know we love to think that, but all we really have. Who is this? Interrupt my wife interrupting this classic. All we have blew my whole train of thought. But anyway, we don't have stupid people here. All we truly have is those who understand what they understand. Everybody is an expert in something. Always remember that. Now, you may say, I'm an expert in finance and I got a master's degree. That's what's important to you. So that's what you're intelligent in. Somebody else could come to you, Boyce, and say, I'm an expert in comic books, and that's how I make my money. That's what he's intelligent in. The same for a mechanic. The same for somebody who's an expert in basketball, football, women. Everybody has a gift, and everybody has something they're expert in. Believe me.
Where honesty is just the best policy. And I'm kind of tired of beating around the bush and being nice about it.
Tired of beating around the bush and being nice about it, which lets you know already it's a condescending asshole. Because if he was upfront and real with you and he was authentic, wouldn't have to come out and tell you. I'm tired of being nice about it and beating around the bush. People already know where you stand. But because you're trying to fit in, and because you're a chameleon, and you don't really know who you are. So you don't know what's cool, what's not cool, because you're socially awkward. So you try to keep a lot of these things to yourself. But now you don't have a choice. So now you're going to say, now I'm going to just be brutally honest. So let's see what brutally honest Boyce Watkins. Let's see who that really is.
Don't believe in straddling the fence. I don't really come on here to talk to you guys in an effort to be popular. I could care less about about people, liking me and me fitting in and all this other stuff. And the honest reason why I don't really want to fit in and be the coolest guy on the block is because where I come from, the kids who were the cool kids were the ones who ended up in jail. The guys who were the cool guys were the ones who became drug addicts. The kids who became the cool kids were the ones who end up with 8 baby.
You hear that? In jail, drug addicts, baby mamas. He ain't gonna talk about women. This is his hatred for the cool black men. This is the disconnect I'm telling you about. He probably don't even realize what he's saying at this point in time either. But this is why I'm telling you, this is how a lot of these black nerds feel. There'll be eruptions here and there, and they'll say some things. Now, if they run into somebody like me, I'm going to bring the machete out and chop you off at your legs. I'm going to cut you off at the knees. And I'll let you know how full of shit you are. And I'll let you know where I agree with you, where I disagree with you. because I can hold the conversations on the left side and on the right side. And as my man, Angry Man, said the other day, which I totally agree with, when you're in the middle, they don't really value you as an intellect. Because that's one thing I will say. I can say a lot of things. My wife has her doctorate, though. So I can say a lot of things. And she'll push back and be like, no, I don't agree with that. Now, it could be somebody else she talked to who has a doctorate, and they could echo the same thing I said. And then she'll come back and say, you know what, babe? You was right. Now, that is a smack in my face a lot of times. I don't really look at it. I don't take it to heart, I guess I would say. Because, we all have different ways of how we decide to consume our information and go with what's right, what's wrong. Some people maneuver where it's like you need a title and ahead of your name for what you're saying to have some credibility. And that's fine. To each his own. Like I tell people though, and like I'll tell her, I have a lot of conversations. It's rare I'm gonna be wrong though. And it's rare I'm gonna be wrong because I'm not usually gonna jump into something I don't have any knowledge on. If I don't have anything to contribute to the conversation, I'll just sit and listen. And then I'll go back after I listen and do some research on it. And then I can figure out whether you were lying, telling the truth, or you're somebody I should, just kind of disregard from here on out when we get to that topic. But let's carry on.
These mamas and STDs, no money in the bank, and struggling. And so one of the things that I've always hated, I'm going to tell you too, one thing I've always hated about being a black man is that there's a type of immaturity.
You hear that? The one thing I've always hated about being a black man, the one thing I've always hated about being me, this is what I'm telling you. You got to listen to these cats when they talking to you, man. If this ain't an Oreo cookie, I don't know what it is. If this don't explain why your wife is the color that she is, I don't know what will. And so we'll get to that later.
That exists in our community, a type of immaturity that is stifling. It does not allow us to move forward. It keeps us looking like motherfucking clowns. And I just don't.
Clowns. Immaturity. Again, what's deemed mature, what's deemed immature? I was just literally having this conversation with my wife at about 6:30 this morning about this. Well, even though Monique is saying what she's saying about that bonnet, that's fine. But why shouldn't they be allowed to wear the bonnet? Do we crucify white women when they out with bonnets? Or they out with skull caps on in the middle of the summertime because their hair all messed up? You'll hear black men come and say, yo, you shouldn't be wearing that suit. I mean, you shouldn't be wearing those jogging pants or that hoodie. You should have a suit on or a button-up shirt and slacks and the Kenneth Cole shoes or the Versace. You should dress like this. According to who? Because this is acceptable. We've allowed white people to set the standard. They are the standard. So then when you say, okay, well, dressing like that is the standard. So what about Jeff Bezos? What about Steve Jobs? What about Bill Gates? What's the Clippers owner? I forgot his name. Steve Ballmer. These guys are out here in jeans, casual shoes, but they just trying to fit in and look cool. Oh, okay. So when they do it, they just looking cool. Why can't it just be that's what's comfortable for people? Why does it matter if I'm in the theater with a hoodie on and some slides? Smell good. I'm not disrespecting anybody. You know why it matters? because you're worried about what white people think of us. That's why it matters to you. Their opinion matters to you. And it's why we were so easily duped into integration. And it's why we still want to integrate and not segregate. Because as Dr. Boyce said, he hates being black.
I don't want any part of any of that. So there's this guy named Kwame Brown. And Kwame Brown, I did not know anything about this dude. Kwame, I just knew he was the number one draft pick in the NBA draft back in the day. Michael Jordan picked him. I know that they made fun of him because they considered him to be a bust and all these other things, right? They said, oh, he's not that good or whatever. I didn't care. I was never the guy.
Didn't know anything about him, but I knew he was the number one pick. Knew Mike drafted him. And I knew he wasn't that good in basketball. And I know a lot of people said, for you not to know nothing about him, man, you sure know a lot about him, don't you? Let's see, this is when I say again, when you run against it, see, I'm a condescending asshole. But those who know me, I'm open and honest when I tell you that. I'm open and honest when I tell you that. When I first met my wife, those are one of the first conversations we had. Yo, I'm a condescending asshole. Like if I feel like you pulling my chain, I'm one of those guys. If you tell me, yo, man, I just made $30,000 in 1 hour pushing these boxes at UPS. You don't work hourly? Oh no, man, I'm different. Oh, okay. So then I'm gonna keep the story going. So how much? What you get for overtime then? What you get about? What you getting $55,000 an hour? Oh, you own, man. I don't know why you doing. You could own this bill. Oh yeah, you think I can? Man, you could buy UPS, man. See, I'm gonna keep the whole story going at that point. And I just get a good chuckle out of it at the end of the day. But that's me. I'm gonna be honest and open about that. Gotta be mindful of dudes like Boyce, man. That they chameleons. They mambas almost. Shout out to Kobe. Rest in peace, man. Rattlesnakes that come out when you least expect it and bite your ass in the neck and try and kill you.
Who attacked him. I never sat around thinking about the fact that Kwame wasn't as good as they thought he was going to be. I just knew that this was the conversation in sports. But I didn't really care, right? So 20 years later, Kwame pops up on the internet. He's doing these videos, and suddenly he kind of pops off, blows up, you know. And I still didn't care because I don't really watch YouTube videos. And but everyone seemed to like what he was talking about. You know, he does this thing called Mama's Cooking,
which is another lie. Boyce, you got almost 4,000 videos. And I can almost say at least 500 of those videos are about other YouTubers and things being said on YouTube and YouTube videos. But okay, carry on.
And then he likes to roast people and stuff like that. And that's not my thing because I'm not really, I know that the best way to be popular on the internet is to be a comedian. And the reason I think that that's true is because...
Now you hear what he said. Roasting people ain't my thing, but you already heard him say, I'm not about hanging with clowns. This show right here is for the intelligent people. Those are jabs, boys. Those are jabs. You didn't already call people immature. But carry on, man. Carry on.
People see the black man as a joke. When the black man is telling jokes, then that is a way of neutering him and basically turning him into a bitch. And so... there
you go again. There go another one. A bitch. So now this is what he's calling comedians. Because again, these are the so-called cool people. You got to be able to read between the lines and dig a little deep into what's going on here, man. But that's another jab he done threw. So now we had 4 jabs already. But like he told you, hey man, I don't engage in that. This is beneath me.
Effectively, I don't get into any of that. I just remain silent. I just say, okay, that's what people do. But the reality is that the black man is seen almost like a kid, like a teenager. You know, you got a lot of 40-year-old men that, you know, they got hair on their balls, but really they're not men. You know, these guys that say, well,
40-year-old men, and he talking about a man having hair on his balls at the age of 40. See, this is what I'm saying. You got simps out here. Simps and men who will say sexually suspect things like that. What does hair on your balls have to do with anything with manhood? What does it have to do with manhood? So I tell you what does have to do with manhood and what we don't do. We're on Dirty Mac. We don't watch a woman we was friends with at the age of 20 or 19, as you said, you and your wife said, and continue dialogue for 30 years. And when you get an opening, we go marry her. Now, we don't do stuff like that. That's not what men do. Men don't violate that code. And see, that's the first time I knew right then and there, you a sucker.
Not gonna be no stepdaddy. Well, you're saying that shit because Kevin Samuels said it, and you're repeating what Kevin Samuels said when everybody knows that if it wasn't for some black man stepping up.
We're gonna rewind that real quick. That ain't why men say that. Men were taught at an early age. You don't let a woman who you wanted, she don't turn you down. Go get married, have 3 kids, and then when that don't work, come back and tell you now you help rear them. And you get the gall to come out here and say, yeah, I'm on good basis with their father. We're a great team. Now you're a sucker, man. That's clown stuff, boys. Men don't behave like that. You just don't do stuff like that. You done violated the man code on so many different levels. But like I said, because you was far over here to the right, and because you socially awkward, you don't understand what that code is about. You've never had to live by a code. You've always been a snake, man.
And helping you out when your daddy wasn't.
But I'm gonna let you.
I don't get into any of that.
I'm gonna let you listen to again what he getting ready to also say about black men.
I just remain silent. I just say, okay, that's what people do. But the reality is that the black man is seen almost like a kid, like a teenager. You know, you got a lot of 40-year-old men that, you know, they got hair on balls, but really they're not men. You know, these guys that say, well, I'm not going to be no stepdaddy. Well, you're saying that shit because Kevin Samuels said it, and you're repeating what Kevin Samuels said when everybody knows that if it wasn't for some black man stepping up and helping you out when your daddy wasn't around, that you never would have become.
Look what he think of your mother. Look at that. Look what he think of black men. He think all black men don't have fathers. Listen to that statement. And it's not a problem about being a stepdaddy. It's the way you became a stepdaddy. You got on here, she got on here with you, and she basically lied right with you. I didn't even know me and Boyce was still good friends. But I didn't know he was Boyce Watkins. Well, how could you be friends with somebody for 30 years and not know who they were in their professional life? What type of friendship is that? But you know it was dirty macking. It's the same as the Gabrielle Union D. Wade. No, we really wasn't together till he got a divorce. Then we was together. We was just friends prior. No, dog, it's cool. It's cool. But like you said, she was the prettiest woman I ever saw. But I just didn't know how to talk to her. So she went and got married, had 3 kids, and then she came back to you and told you, here, dummy, you raise them.
The person you are today, right? It's silly. It's what I.
And no, stepdaddies didn't turn black boys into black men into what they've seen today. If we're gonna have that conversation, boys, let's be honest. Let's have a real conversation about it. And you could say it. Black women have bad mating choices. They chose the wrong men, which forced somebody else to step in and do something about that. Don't go blame daddy. Because the men you say, the low value men, the immature men, those men gonna do what they supposed to do just by nature. They just gonna go and have sex. They don't really care what the outcome gonna be. She's choosing to procreate with them. She's choosing to have 5 children and 3 and 4 baby daddies. That's the choice she decided to make. And then she comes back and she finds a clown like you because in your head, even though now she's 50 pounds heavier, that's still the one that got away. So I'll step in. I'll raise all of them. Yeah, but guess what? You ain't their daddy. You an advisor. I don't even know if you're an advisor in this situation. You stepfather by title, but are you really the step? If they have a father, dog, that's it. You don't have that type of role in this if their father is involved. I know you think you do, but you just don't. Because at the end of the day, guess what? That's not your kid. And that's the one thing I always say. I salute all stepfathers because it's a role I don't believe I'm built to take. I don't think I could be a stepfather. I just don't believe I could do that. I don't believe I could have another man have say so and opinion into my household. Now that's just me. And let me turn this off so we don't get no more notifications doing this. I'm over here cooking. They ain't here bothering me today. 8:30 in the morning. What's up at this time?
Called the nigger net. I never wanted to be part of the nigger net. I never wanted to be part of the niggatry that exists on the nigger net. Just this really ridiculous backward thinking. This sort of like I'm gonna get on here and yell and scream, and that's the same as actually making progress. This desire to beef as opposed to resolve your conflicts. I'm not a fan of that. So I was never really into what Kwame did. I just kind of ignored it. I didn't really care. And
you are not a fan of it because of what he did to Charlemagne. And that's, as you said, that's a close friend of yours. I get it's a conflict of interest, boys, but just be real and say that. Just like when you made the statement on the Hip Hop Uncensored where it was, or maybe it wasn't, but you made a statement last week where you said, yo, the girl was 15, he was 22, but she looked older. And I know some people who would have, I know some people who wouldn't have. So, I know some people who would have had sex with her, I know some who wouldn't. Hey, boys, if he had sex with that girl, dog, statutory rape, man. Stand on that. If that's what that is, if that's what you stand for, stand on that. But you want me to tell you, you've been real quiet through all of this whole storm you're going through now? Your backbone. The man of the house. Dr. Alicia Watkins. She's been very quiet since you've been going through the eye of the storm now. See, she done had a lot to say, but guess what she done did now? Left your weak, feminine butt out here in the waters to fend for yourself. And now the piranhas tearing your tail up. And you getting what you deserve, man. Like I said, I wanted to do this 6 months ago when all of this started. Because I was disgusted with how you did it then. But I said, I didn't even say it. My wife just thought it wasn't wise. So I let it go. She just said, I don't know if that's what you want your platform to be. But for me, I'm going to just start calling you hypocrites out, man. Every time y'all get out here and y'all do this silly stuff and y'all leave yourself vulnerable in these videos, I'm going to just do a deep dive on it and break it all the way down, man.
For some reason, and then I was asked a question about something with Kwame, and I did a little video about it. And in the video, I went out of my way to be exceptionally supportive, even though honestly, deep down, it ain't my type of thing. This content's not my thing. I can't watch more than 3 or 4 minutes of it because I'm kind of, okay, where are we going? What are we learning? How are we getting better here? And so effectively, I just basically said, hey, bro, you may not want to put the N word in your titles because...
Now, I don't watch his videos, just 3-4 minutes. And he doing hour-long videos, hour and a half long videos. Then guess what, as you like to say, a real man would do, boys? I don't watch his content. I don't have an opinion on it. There are people Somebody asked me about Cynthia G. I would tell them, hey, yo, I don't watch her content, dog. So I'm not getting triggered by stuff like that. So it would just be, hey, yo, I'm not with that. I don't have nothing to say on that because I don't follow her. I saw a video. I saw a couple videos of hers already. Didn't like what I heard. I went on about my business. This ain't for me. That's all you had to say. Yo, I only see 3-4 minutes. I don't know how you can have an opinion on something if you've only seen 3-4 minutes of it. But again, like I said, as my daughter would like to say, air quotes, that's the so-called intellect inside of you coming out.
If you put the N word in your title, they'll take your channel down because that is what they would do if you were white. So next thing I know, Kwame's doing a video.
But he's not white. And what you did was exactly what I've seen them do to take down battle rap bloggers channels and even cats in the manosphere channels. You gave people the blueprint on how to flag his channel, to get his channel some strikes and get his channel taken down. That's what he was upset about. You know that's what he's upset about. But you're still dancing and tap dancing around, man. All you got to do is just man up and just say, yo, I rock with Charlamagne. My allegiance is over here, and that's what it is. And stand on that. But like I said, that's the one thing I always say. The nerd has never had to stand on anything growing up. See, I'm not a fan of the don't snitch. But what I will always tell people is I understand it. See, if you belong to something and that's your code, you don't violate that code. That's a lack of integrity if you violate that code. I don't even care if you performing illegal activities. You never violate the code. If that's what you in, that's what you in. At that point, this is what I decided to belong and be a part of, and I'm willing to accept the consequences that come with that. When you go against that, I got a problem with that. I don't even care if you're doing it for the right reason at that point. I got a problem with that. When you join something and you know this is what this is, that's whatever. You knew about Charlamagne and this little girl a long time ago. But because he could have you on the Breakfast Club and help get your brand out there, you decided to go along with it. And you didn't even have to be friends with him. You're the one who's saying we good friends. You could have used this platform to get your exposure, separated yourself from it, and went on about your business. And this is where you're starting to make yourself look weak and make yourself look like you have no moral code. Well, I know you don't have no moral code, because you wouldn't be married to that woman if you did.
Gonna be literally like 5 minutes later. And I'm like, why is he doing a video about me? I'm not that important. Like, what? And he completely went out of his way to misinterpret everything that I was saying. You know, I mean, have you ever had that happen where you just like, wait, you completely took everything I said totally out of context, and you're coming up with your own interpretation that almost.
And when he's saying he misinterpreted everything and took it out of context, that's again, as he likes to say, I don't get involved in that. That's another slight. That's him saying Kwame Brown is not intellectually capable of breaking down his message.
Sounds like it came from another planet. So I'm getting calls from people who are saying, yeah, why is Kwame mad at you? And then I'm getting all these messages from people. Oh, you got mama's cooking. You got mama's cooking. I'm like, what the fuck is mama's cooking? No, I'm sorry. Okay, you go in the kitchen and cook with mama. Daddy's out here trying to build something. Daddy's trying to do daddy's work. Daddy's hunting. You go deal with mama's cooking, because I don't even know what that means.
There you go. You go help in the kitchen. That's where women belong, barefoot in the kitchen. You said it, Boyce, not me. You said it. I wonder if your wife feel that way, though. That mama's, you go over there and you go help out in the kitchen. Daddy is out here building. That's fine, brother. But again, the disrespect to mama's cooking. You know that man mother dead. But you don't care. And you know why you don't care? Because you never was raised with a code. You ignorant little prick.
but I did not care, right? And so the thing was, it was really frustrating and confusing to me. And I was like, okay, and people are like, well, you should have called him. You should have called him. I'm like, how do I call him? I don't know this man. I don't know NBA players. I don't hang out with celebrities. I don't try to. I know a couple of them because they reach out to me. I talk to Ice Cube because Ice Cube called me. I did not call Ice Cube.
I don't know these guys. They called me. Ice Cube called Dr. Boyce to come hang out. But he don't know anybody. I don't know any celebrities, but I'm hanging out with Willie D. I don't know any celebrities, but I'm hanging out with Charlamagne the God. Boys, you gotta stop lying, dog. Just stop lying. Just be real, man. That's all.
And so it was one of those weird things where I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to call Kwame Brown? Like, you think I got his phone number? I don't have this man's phone number. And so what I did notice was I noticed a lot of groupthink. And this is the type of thing that I'm not a fan of. In the Black community, you can notice groupthink when you see people repeating the same thing over and over again.
You mean like when you repeat feminist talking points? That type of groupthink. But carry on.
So I kept seeing people say, Mom was cooking. Mom was cooking. Well, you should have called him. You should have called him. I'm like, okay, I get it. So he said in the video, he should have called me. And now you're saying you should have called him, right? Because people are not that smart, just to be honest with you. And people think it's elitist to say that people aren't that smart, but that's fucking true. You know that shit's fucking true. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I know y'all got some relatives that are like, it ain't that they're really dumb, like determined to be, or they're gonna be stuck being stupid, but they want to be stupid. They want to be dumb. They want to be anti-intellectual. They want to go backwards. They don't want to prosecute.
Now that's 4 jabs he just threw right there. So now we up to 10 jabs he didn't throw, but he doesn't throw them. And again, this is what he thinks of Black people. It's just what he thinks of Black people. He's not pro-Black. No matter what that channel is nothing but a conduit for him to make money. He's no different than Reverend Al, Tamika Mallory, my son, and the rest of these cats who pimping y'all, man. They're providing a service for you, providing content. They're providing what you want to hear. And you know what you want to hear? Hope. I got news for you. The game is what the game is. And this game is way too far advanced for people like Boyce and them to change what's going on. The only way the game will honestly change is you can change your community you live in. But changing Black America as a whole, listen to this closely when I tell you this. It will never happen. Black America as a whole will never come together as a collective. Now, again, you can change the community you live in, but that's about it. If you think you get ready to have that type of network where you can reach out to African Americans, those people across the United States, and change people's mindset in the way they view the world, you're shitting yourself, man. Stop letting these people sell you that dream.
This information, they don't.
Hi, Sparkle.
Being almost like a kid, like a teen. People to come up with a constructive solution, how I can actually get along with people. So I spend more time building than I spend destroying.
Sorry about that. We'll get to that Sparkle video about the hit job and the lies she told in that surviving R. Kelly, but that just kind of forward into that. But we'll get back to Boyce.
Because if Kwame took any time to watch my platform on any level, he would know that not only am I friends with all the people that he shouts out Claude Anderson. Claude Anderson's like a...
Now, I want you to listen. I'm not friends with any celebrities. I want you to listen to all of the people you're getting ready to shout out. I want you to listen to what he just told Kwame. If you took the time to listen to me, yet what did you say about Kwame and his platform? All of these people who he cool with, who Kwame cool with, who you say y'all mutually friends with, they rock with Kwame. But you too good to listen to anything past 3 to 4 minutes of an hour and a half dialogue. I get it. And again, he wants to say, I'm not with the leaders. This is beneath me.
A father to me. I talk to this man twice a week. He talks about Joe Brown. Joe Brown is very close. I'm cool with Joe Brown and his people. He shouts out Ice Cube. Me and Ice Cube, we worked together on a lot of big projects. So I'm like, if all of our friends are the same people, then maybe you and I could be friends if you got on the phone with me and we talked it out. But instead, it becomes this weird thing that I just have no appreciation for. It becomes this high school thing. Like, I'm going to get mad. I'm going to make a video about you. I'm going to roast you.
See where he went back to? See what I told you? See where he went back to right there? High school. That's where the majority of Black America still is socially. In high school. This is where a lot of the emotional and psychological damage was done. The ladies they wanted that they couldn't get. The men that she wanted that she couldn't get. You get a lot of these teachers who come back as teachers and they sleep with high school students and it's, yo, why are you doing that? Well, that was always my dream when I was growing up, was to sleep with the star football player. So now that I'm here teaching, I can do that. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense to you. Right here is where he goes. This is high school stuff. But again, Kwame told you already, I'm not interested in being friends with you. So just accept that. Just like you said that only 10% of Black America you want to be involved with, that means 90% of Black America you're not trying to even be involved with. So just accept the same thing when Kwame tell you, yo, I don't want to be involved with you. I don't want to deal with you. But again, all of these celebs, he says, I don't know any celebrities. Then he ramble them off. I don't really watch any more 3-4 minutes of his content. I figure Kwame first 2 minutes, and he really saying 2 minutes. Because Kwame first 2 minutes, he basically got music playing or he playing around. So they don't say nothing and get the video taken. I forgot what it is with it, but he basically don't even really say nothing the first 2 minutes. So you only talking, maybe you listening to 2 minutes of his content. How can you make that type of an assessment, Doc, off of listening to somebody for 2 minutes out of an hour and a half video?
Because I'm going to talk about you with Mama's cooking. Mama's cooking, boy. I'm going to give you some Mama's cooking, boy. What the fuck does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? like, are we really like 18 now? Like, and look, my feeling with Kwame was like,
and you want me to tell you why you're making fun of that Southern drawl? It's because they always looked at down South people as what? Slow. That's another insult. But I keep trying to tell y'all, man. He think he good, man. Just not good enough, boys.
That, and the only reason I'm talking about this, in case you want to know why I'm talking about it, it's because the man has done a video about me every single day. He's literally done a video almost every single day. Well, he did 2 videos about me today. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not that important. And I'm not your enemy, right? The white man's your enemy. White supremacy is your enemy. How about we?
White man ain't our enemy. But again, you race baiters, like I just told y'all, the people who sell hope, this is how they make their money. White people, your enemy. The white man ain't, and notice he said the white man. And you want me to tell you why he said the white man? Because a lot of these pro-blacks like Boyce, they sleep with white women. They either sleep with white women or they gonna marry somebody who comes out of an interracial relationship. And we see your wife in the picture. We definitely know what that situation was, boys. There's a hatred you have for black women, for black men, I should say. I don't know how deep that hatred goes for dark-skinned black women. I really don't, but I'm gonna keep a close eye on you from here on out, boys. And I ain't gonna call you Doc no more either, because you done disgraced yourself with this. You're gonna have to earn the respect. You're gonna have to earn my respect back for me to call you Doc, man. This is disgraceful. Your behavior is disgraceful. I said I was done with 1.5 2-hour-long videos. But just when I get out, it take a clown like you to pull me back in.
Right there. How about we come together and fight white supremacy? How about, you know, and I'm gonna tell you, I get these messages from people. I'm gonna tell you about a little bit about my world, what I see on my end. I get these messages. You should have kept Kwame's name out your mouth. Well, first of all, fuck you. And second, because I'm gonna talk about what I want. The white man can't shut me down. You can't shut me down either. So, I'm not worried about enemies, foreign or domestic. I'm not scared of the white man trying to shut me down. I'm not scared of Negroes trying to shut me down. That's just not gonna work. But then second of all,
so the white supremacy is your enemy. Majority of Black America, 90% of Black America is your enemy. I would hate to see who your friends are then, man. I would hate to see who your friends are.
What are you talking about? If you talk about keeping somebody's name out of your mouth, my name was in his mouth a lot. My name was in his mouth a lot more than his name was in my mouth. I didn't really even mention the brother until...
It don't matter. You mentioned them first. And that's the problem. See, you one of those people who believe, I just pushed them. I ain't deserve to get shot in the head. You don't dictate what the response gonna be. What you do is make sure you don't put yourself in a situation where there needs to be a response. But again, like I said, that goes to how you was raised. You never was raised to understand the code. You don't have a code. And any man who doesn't have a code, to me, is a beta male. That's a simp.
I kept hearing that he's doing all these videos over and over again. And every time you say his name, it's like, you're not allowed to say his name. That doesn't make any sense to me. That seems like kind of strange. That seems almost like mentally ill, because people say my name all the time, everywhere, all across the world.
That's another shot. Mentally ill. We at 12 now. But like he said, I don't really get into the name calling.
And I don't tell people they don't have the right to say my name. And even that language, that rhetoric, keep my name out your mouth, nigga.
Now, I want you to remember, he said, I don't tell people they don't have the right to do certain things. And he wants to act like he wants to play with the First Amendment. But I want you to listen, because we're going to revisit that statement later, too.
Can we try to have a grown-up conversation? Can we at least get to the point as Black people? And this is where I'm drawing the line in the sand. I swear to God, I'm drawing the line in the sand right now. I don't need to be, I really don't come on the internet because I'm trying to fit in. I do not want to fit into a culture that's losing. I want to play with the winners, whatever that looks like. And to me, the winner...
White people. White people. And again, he basically just called him a child. That's another dig. See, this is what they'll try to do, though. Those who think the so-called Black intellect, the educated lane, because they think you can't decipher the coded language they speak in there. And a lot of times, they're not even as smart as they think they are.
Are Black people who are succeeding, Black people who are doing their best. And I'm not talking about being rich. I'm not talking about going to school and have a lot of education. I'm not talking about that stuff, those other standards. I'm talking about people that want to build the future, people that want to do better. And somebody says that I'm the elder. I am the elder, but at the same time, the elder should be respected. So when you disrespect your daddy or disrespect your older brother, at some point he's going to say, okay, you need to chill with all this. So,
yeah, he keeps saying daddy. See, he calls himself stepfather, but that's the second time he didn't refer to daddy is doing something when he was referring to Kwame. And who is daddy? Who say daddy and boy? Exactly. I'm telling you, I'm not sure if this man is not a part of the white supremacist organization, but that would take a little bit more research than I'm willing to give.
So no, as the elder, that does not mean I sit there and allow somebody to constantly lie about me, constantly somehow assume that because Charlemagne had me on his show that I support the raping of a little girl. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what kind of...
You said Charlemagne is your friend. If you say Charlemagne is your friend, you do support him then. If you don't support it, you take a step back and say, look, I'm going to take a step back from all of this, let the facts of this come out, and then I'll make a decision from there. If you keep coming out saying, yo, Charlemagne's my friend, he's been very good to me, and you support him. That's no different than when I have conversations with women and it's, yo, I'm not a Black feminist. Yeah, I'm in a sorority. Do the sorority you belong to, do they support feminist organizations? Yes. Do you support this sorority when they supporting the feminist organization? Yes. Then you're a black feminist. That's just what that is. We don't have to play semantics. We don't have to play Scrabble. We ain't got to play word games. We're going to start calling shit what it is from here on out, man. I ain't letting none of y'all off the hook any longer. You don't like it? That's a tough titty for you.
A weird stretch of the imagination is that. So no, there's a point where if you go in there, if you're talking about elders, then where's the respect? If I reach out and I say, let's talk on the phone, because clearly you didn't understand what I was trying to say, and you just say, well, no, I'm going to make a video about you. I'm going to.
Number 13. Clearly, you didn't understand what I was trying to say. And again, if he told you he doesn't want to be friends or speak to you, he's entitled to that. Somebody tells me, hey, yo, it's cool. What happened is what happened, but I can't rock with you. That's fine. I go my way, you go your way, man. And we keep it moving. When you wake up, or if you allow to wake up tomorrow, sun gonna still come out, man. Unless Earth ends, life keep moving, man. And you got to keep moving with it. Yo, I don't want to make amends with you. I don't accept your apology. All right, that's fine, brother. Sorry you feel that way. I'm going to stay over here, do my thing. I ain't going to bother you no more. You stay over there, do your thing. Don't bother me no more. And at that point, y'all go y'all separate ways, man.
Gossip about you, about things that you don't even know. What am I supposed to do? Are you supposed to sit there and say, well, I'm the elder. I'm going to be quiet. No, I'm sorry. I see your comment, JB. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate that. But no.
And as the elder, sometimes you do sit and be quiet. There are things with my daughter I don't agree with at times. I just don't. Both of them. But you don't jap back. There are things with young cats that I see all the time on social media where I may pull their coattail in a private message and messenger, or they may get a text from me and just be like, hey, yo, you don't need to be flashing all that money out here like that, man. You're going to set yourself up to get in some trouble one of these nights. Yeah, it don't need to be put out there for everybody. But a lot of times, once I've said it once to them, they say, hey, yo, hey, Big G or Big Homie, hey, this is what this is, and that is what it is, then that's cool, man. However this play out, that's on you now. The one thing you can say is, I reached out to you and had a conversation with you about it. When it's people who come and they listening and it's, hey, yo, I'm going through this or I'm going through that. Yo, I can give you some advice. And if you say, yo, I just reached out to somebody early who was going through some mental health stuff. And I asked him, you okay? No, I'm going through a storm right now. You want to talk about it? No. Hey, I'm here if you need me. That's it, man. Conversation over. We ain't got to go no further. If you decide to reach out, that's fine. But as an elder, sometimes you do bite your lip. You should be more mature enough to be able to say, okay, this don't add any value to what she going through or he going through. So as an elder, let me sit tight and let them shoot all the arrows, because at this point, my arm is strong enough for them arrows to bounce off, and I can keep doing what I'm doing. Now, if the disrespect get to a point, Boyce, where you need to respond back, then you sit down and you respond back. And even at that point, as an elder, you wouldn't have this rant that I'm on right now. You sit down in a calm way and you speak your piece, and then you let it be. And you don't revisit it anymore. That is the job as an elder, Mr. Great Stepfather.
If you're lying on another black person, making things up, like misconstruing, I've been putting in work 25 years for black people. You go check my record, check my track record. 10,000 videos. I've done probably thousands of articles. I've taught over 1 million black people how to buy their first share of stock. Some of y'all in here right now have more money in your pocket because of things that I have shared with you. I've done the work. I've done the work. So to somehow come in with this interpretation that I'm somehow part of the elite, it's the most crazy thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what fucking elite am I a part of? Did I go to the NBA and have white people pay me $64 million to play basketball? Do you know that if I had had 6 white people pay me $64 million to play basketball, do you know how much I could have done with that money? I had to build this on my.
Now, he'll tell you this. He'll say he had to build this on his own. Like Kwame Brown didn't have to build his brand on his own to go get paid. But again, this is how he'll minimize it. Do you know what I would have done if I had that money? Nope, and you don't either. White folks didn't have to pay me 60. Yeah, but they paying you on YouTube. And guess what, boys? Whether you want to believe it or not, white people own the Federal Reserve. The currency that's in your bank is owned by white people. You don't have black currency, my man. But see, this is when I tell you these intellects, they get into these weird roles and they want to get into these conversations. Yo, I'm self-made. I don't need the white man. You need his money. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, guess what? It's his money still. If he decides the Federal Reserve no longer exists, then guess what? The lights is off in your bank account. Party is over. That's just it. So since you don't create your own currency, guess what? The white man still pays you. No matter how you want to slice and dice that, man.
Oh, I had no help. White people don't give me anything. So what are you talking about? I get it, right? Okay, you got the go along, get along, Gary, that whole.
And there you go again. They don't give me anything. Yet you ask them. The car you drive, who gave that to you? Whose is that? The cement you walking on. Who put that down? Probably the house that was built for you. Who built that? Then you're going to say, well, I paid for that. With whose cash, boys? Their cash. That's not your cash, man. This stuff don't belong to you. And I know that this is my money. This is beneath me. All right. The currency exchanged. The currency in this country has changed. What is it? Over 200-300 times already. Since the beginning of time. What would say globally? 200-300 times since the beginning of time. Probably more than that. It don't take much for one day to wake up. Yo, this dollar is no longer usable here. Then guess what? If you had $200,000 in the bank, if you got $8 million in the bank, guess what? If that currency is no longer accepted, guess what you have in the bank? Nothing. They are paying you, no matter how you want to slice and dice that.
Thing, and that's all fun and good. But it's like, I don't work for ESPN. You know, I'm not Stephen A. Smith. Like, what are you talking about? It's not logical. So my position is this. Look, when I hear people that say, well, don't you be talking about Kwame. Don't you keep Kwame's name out your mouth. He gonna give you that mama's cooking. I'm like, yeah, well, maybe you should talk to your boy about having the facts. You're talking about a person you've never met. You've never met me. We've never had a conversation. So how do you suddenly have all these interpretations and understandings of who I am as a human being when you don't even take the time to do the research? Right now, this is probably one of the most, his platform right now, and God bless him, shit. I hope he gets 1 million views. The fact that...
See, that's what they do also. God bless him. But he'll tell you, he don't understand me. He hasn't done the research. Yet you had comments about him and you said, I can get through 3-4 minutes of his videos. This is beneath me. Okay. So why are you commenting about something you haven't done any research? Which I believe you have done research. Like I said, I know you're a liar. And we'll get into one of these days if it presents itself for me to expose the liar that you are with some of the content creators on YouTube. And you have a contract basically with YouTube, right? You do get paid by YouTube, right? Exactly. Cut it out, man. You're being intellectually dishonest today. This whole video is intellectually dishonest. You should be ashamed of yourself.
That so many people love that platform is really a reminder of just how behind a lot of our people are. It's just honest God true. Because here's the deal. There's nothing.
Shot number 14. Listen to what he's telling you. If you follow me and my wife, we can tell you how relationships go. Nigga, you just got married. It's the only serious relationship you've ever been in, basically. Well, we hope this is serious. But you just got married. But if you follow us, we can show you black love, not Kevin Samuels. Then on the same 10 minutes later, you come behind, well, I'm not interested in all of black America, just 10% of black America. So you don't really want black love. You want 10% black love. You what I would call a 10% at this point.
About that platform that unifies black people, nothing. There's nothing there that says, let's figure out how we can all get together and do something great together. It is, I'm going to attack this person today,
And on plenty of videos, he's talked about how you can unify people. Am I a fan of everything Kwame says? No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of anything. I'm not a fan of everything that anybody says. If we're being honest with you. Some of the greatest minds, I rock with this. I may rock with 95% of what you say, and it's 5%, I'm cool on that. I rock with a lot of what Malcolm X said. When it gets to religion, I'm out. I ain't a religious person. I got my reasons for that. When it gets to Dr. King, 40-50% of what he said, I can rock with. The other 50, I'm cool, man. You can preach and teach that to somebody else. I'm not interested in that message. So now, when he's teaching the message I want to hear, I'll tune in. When it gets to some other stuff, I'm going to tune out. Like, I got other things I could be doing. I'm not getting ready to sit and listen to somebody for 2 hours and, hey, I can do this or do that. We just don't have to agree with everything. But like I said, if you chose to listen, yes, there are messages where Kwame is talking about unifying people. You got a lot of videos where he's talking about that. And what you could do to help out young black boys in the community to keep them off the streets. But like I said, you also haven't listened to him and done your due diligence either. So the gall of you to tell him to come and respect you and your platform and do the research, but you haven't done it to him. But you know why you won't do it to him? Because this is beneath me. I get it.
That person tomorrow, another person tomorrow, another person tomorrow, and I'm gonna attack all these black people. And remember, when you're attacking me, just understand, Dr. Claude Anderson is looking over there like, what the hell's going on? Why are you attacking Boyce? Right? So if you're attacking me, you're attacking him because we're very closely aligned. So
you can't speak for Dr. Claude Anderson. But again, that's his way of saying, hey, people who rock with Dr. Claude, me and him tight. So if you rock with Dr. Claude and you rock with me, you shouldn't rock with Kwame then. Because we align together. So if you siding with Dr. Claude, you should be siding with me in this. Like I said, he's a man with no code, man.
So I'm just trying to help people. This is not even really for everybody. I'm not here to try to convince, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people to change their opinion. I'm not trying to change your opinion, just so you know. I'm not trying to do that at all. If your opinion is the wrong opinion, then that's okay. You can unsubscribe or you will be unsubscribed.
And see, this is when I start to say, you're a lot dumber than what I thought you was. There's no such thing as a wrong opinion, boys. It's just an opinion. Now, when we talking facts, that's a different conversation, brother. But when you say an opinion, there's no wrong opinion. If somebody believes this is that, you believe this is that, then that just is what it is. You stand on this side with that belief, they stand on that side with that belief. It can't be proven. So at that point, it's just a theory. That's all we're going off of.
Like, you will be removed. Like, this is not the place for you, right? It's not an elite thing. It's not like you have to be educated or have money. No, you just got to have the right mindset.
Now, there you go again. You can't respond. Remember when he said earlier about Kwame? You act like when you say stuff that people they can't respond to what you say and mention your name. What did I tell you? We'll revisit later. If you don't agree with me, get off my platform. Because you know why? This is beneath me.
Want to be around black people that actually want to connect and grow and build. I don't want to be part of the nigger net. I don't want to be part of the negativity. I don't give a shit about mama's cooking. I don't care about, I'm not going to.
Listen to that. The nigger net, negativity. Listen to the names he's given to these things. Do you realize the hatred that's in his soul for black people to create these type of things? And your wife stands with you with this, which again speaks more for her than what I thought. Because now this really lets me know the type of hot ghetto mess. Yes, you could both be doctors and be ghetto. And that's what I see now. Two hot ghetto messes out here. And what a coincidence. Willie D. the Ghetto Boys was right there for that ghetto marriage. The gall of you. The gall of you. Negativity. Nigger net. And you know what? You wouldn't say this in front of half the people if they were standing face to face. You'd be sitting with that fanny pack you walk around with, acting like you had some sense. But like I said, like my buddy Deuces I told you about, when you're in the comfort of your own home and you feel safe over that microphone, you got your tough juice.
Sit here and call, just say all these things and think that somehow because I told a bunch of jokes that somehow means that I'm making real progress in the community. Jokes are not progress. Jokes means that you're an entertainer. And Black people love entertainment. So that's why so many people love the platform, I'm sure. And I think that's all great. Good.
Right. So now, you don't watch this platform. Again, you're talking about comedians. Black people love that. And the jokes is entertainment. If he hasn't talked to you and you don't know what his platform is about, and you don't know what he's doing outside of being on the internet or being on live on YouTube, how do you know he's not making progress? If he just got an AAU team or he's just sitting around spitting gems and jewels to young Black boys and girls, that's progress, boys. That's progress. That's a conversation somebody else not having with them. But again, things need to be done your way. And what I'm starting to think is you might be a narcissist. You might be. But I would have to do some more research, like I said. And at this point, I'm a little too heated and upset to kind of go through your videos because I may be triggered by some things. And then you may get a real ruthless rant from me. So
I'm not here to change anybody's opinion. I'm really here to talk to people that have logic and rationale. Some of Kwame's own friends have called me and said, I'm really confused about what he's doing right now. I've had people go public, Ron Artest and some others who said, I saw the video and wait.
Look at the dry snitching. Some of Kwame's friends. So now you can have Kwame looking at his inner circle. Kwame say he ain't got too many friends. So I don't even know who you're talking about. Then you go throw Ron Artest. I think that's a former teammate. I'm not even sure Ron was on the team. I'm not sure Kwame was on the team. Ron wasn't even there when Kwame was on the Lakers. When Ron got there, Kwame was gone in the Memphis trade already with Marc Gasol for Paul Gasol. But see, this is the type of stuff when I say a man doesn't have code, man. All of this dry snitching. Everything he does, everything Boyce is doing, this is the one reason why the so-called cool dudes, the street dudes, the athletes, guys who have to live by a certain code, this is why they don't mess with guys like this.
What Dr. Boyce said, I don't think Dr. Boyce was attacking him. But because Kwame went on his channel and said, he's attacking me, y'all, everybody suddenly, because people don't think for themselves, they start saying,
Now, I want you to hear, though, too, the word he used was, I don't think Dr. Boyce was attacking him. Just understand that. They said, I don't think. They didn't say you weren't. They didn't say definitively you weren't. They said think.
You attack him. Why you attack him? Keep his name out your mouth. So remember, if I'm a man, there's a point where you have to speak up for yourself as a man. And so I'm just here to tell you, it's just straight up point blank period. I am completely prepared to, I have, I think, 293,000 people that follow me on Instagram. I am prepared to go down to literally 2,000 people left. I'm prepared to lose 2,000 or 291,000 of those 293,000 people if that's what the price is for me to make a point by saying, Black people, you sound fucking stupid right now. To say, what the hell is this nonsense? If you want to know why the white man has his foot on your neck, why the white man dominates you the way he does, it's because you don't you don't honor the right ideas. You don't think in a way that is constructive. You're not really, as a community, trying to build anything. You like all the beef.
I'm gonna say this too, so we can dispel this myth that you keep talking about. Majority of white people in white America are poor, boys. See, we have this thing where we love to show the well-off white people. It's kind of like when they show the videos in Africa and they show all of these starving kids with flies and stuff on their stomach. And they say, yo, you can make somebody happy just by donating 10 cents a day. Cool. As my man Ron would say, cool. That ain't the way people actually living over there though either. But yes, if I show you Chicago and just show you Inglewood and take you to the Austin neighborhood and take you to O Block and to the Far East Side, guess what? You'll think it's crazy here. But I can also tell you, yeah, I could take you to 85% of the neighborhoods in Chicago and there's really no crime. Everything is perception, boys. And see, this is when I say people like you are intellectually dishonest and disingenuous. Because white people ain't building together either. You got well-off Black people who building together. And the one problem Black people have is they want to save everybody. And you just can't. That's the one thing most coaches have figured out that Black people haven't figured out. They let those who on a different type time stay over there to the left. And those who on the right, on the time with them, they keep moving and making progress with them. You people keep talking as Black people as a collective. There will never be a point in history, any people in any culture where the collective is well off. You can go all the way back in history. There's always been a king, a queen, and then there's been the peasants. That word exists for a reason. There's never been a point where everybody is well off. That's the utopia I said I have with my buddy over here, my buddy Deuces. With this, everything could be, no, it's not. You could give every Black person in America right now $2 million, every Black adult, and say, this is your reparations. You could give them 10 million and say, this is your reparations. And I promise you, maybe 30 to 40% would try and figure out some things and figure out ways to turn that money into generational wealth. The rest will go trick out and get a house, go buy a $2-3 million house, go buy a few cars, go on a few trips. It's $10 million. You can blow through $10 million very quickly. 2-3 years, 2-3 years tops, that money could be gone depending on the way you live in. But for you to keep saying, yo, this is how the culture, and not just you, there's a lot of people who get into this. Well, if we could just do what they doing, yeah. But what they doing is they've separated already. White people run off a different, you got white people talking about, I'm German, I'm Irish, I'm Jewish, I'm Polish. The term poor white trash exists for a reason, boys. Even when you talk Mexican cultures, Latino cultures, these cultures understand, yo, it's going to be those who can keep moving, and then there's those who just going to keep trying to drag you down. See, we keep talking about this crab in the barrel mentality. And the crab in the barrel mentality is cool. But let me tell you what the problem with the crab in the barrel mentality is. It's not that the crab is having a hard time getting out of the barrel. It's that he's trying to pull other crabs up with him to get out the barrel with him. No, get out, keep it moving. And those who keep getting out, let them follow with you. And if they don't, hey, that just is what it is.
You love the idea of a black man coming in and just creating as much chaos as he possibly can. I'm going to attack him today. I'm going to get him today. Oh, mom was cooking, right? You can attack everybody but yourself. You can criticize everybody but yourself, right? Everybody's fucked up except for you. Well, I'm sorry. You know what, people? You know what that's called? That's called a demagogue. That's demagoguery. That's some Umar Johnson type shit. That's some Jim Jones type stuff. That's narcissism. And a lot of times, part of the reason that you honor mental.
Now, isn't that what Boyce just said, though? Isn't that what he just said? For those who don't agree with what I'm talking about, you out. That just might be me, though. If you don't agree with what I'm talking about, I'm willing to go from 293,000 subscribers to 2,000. Because what? You don't do what, boys? They don't agree with you.
Hi, Sparkle.
And we done messed this up again.
Being almost like a kid. Like you will be removed. Like 1,000 you and people left. I'm prepared to lose 2,000 or 291. Right? Everybody's fucked up except for you. Well, I'm sorry. You know what, people? You know what that's called? That's called a demagogue. That's demagoguery. That's some Umar Johnson type shit. That's some Jim Jones type stuff.
Now again, if somebody talking about I'm willing to remove 291,000 out of my 293,000 subscribers because you don't agree with me, I would say then you are a demagogue too then. Right, boys? I would say you are a narcissist. Didn't I just say you might be a narcissist?
That's narcissism. And a lot of times, part of the reason that you honor mentally ill people is because mental illness is a big thing in your community. You love crazy people because a lot of our people are crazy too.
See what he told you? Call them mentally ill again. But I want you to understand real quick. And here he said, mental illness is a big problem in your community. Boyce don't see himself as one of you guys. He don't. He doesn't see himself as ADOS or Black American. He's an elitist. This is beneath me. Mm-hmm.
It ain't your fault. Sure, I know. Trauma is big, right? We go through things as children. Racism is a motherfucker. The white man treats you like shit. So you gravitate toward the most toxic behavior you can possibly find. And this shit is toxic as fuck because I can tell you, I could put it on a stack of Bibles. When somebody reached out to me about Kwame, I said, sure, let me talk to him. Let me just, I'll even apologize if I have to just get him to understand I'm not his enemy. But I think at this point, the man feels like everybody is his enemy. He feels like everybody is attacking him.
He's only talking about 6 people, boys. It's almost 50 million Black Americans. 6 people out of 50 million. You're exaggerating. That exaggeration is very great, man. It's kind of like when I was just having this conversation with somebody and they was just like, it's a lot of information we're missing. And I say, yeah. And it was like, well, I know some people who know a lot. I say, no, nobody really knows a lot. So how can you figure that? Because if they tell you Earth is billions of years old and we only have that Bible dates back 8,000 years, we supposedly only have 8,000 years of information, and this place is billions of years old, there's no way on Earth somebody could know close to anything. We probably don't even know a 0.1. We don't know 0.1% of what happened here, if we're being honest.
Just like everybody hates his guts. And that he's the hero that's standing up for the little guy against everybody that's trying to take him down. Brother, everybody ain't trying to motherfucking take you down. Get off that paranoia. Like, seriously, I know that you went through 20 years where people made fun of you. I know that you went through 20 years where people called you a bust. I know you went through 20 years of hurt and pain.
And you went through now about, you say you're 49, you've went through now about 37, 38 years of people making fun of you. You went through 37, 38 years of being the short kid who couldn't play sports, who couldn't get women, who was made fun of. Now, In your head, you'll try and justify it and say, well, I got women who come now, but they come for money. Then you're a John. That's just prostitution at that point. That has nothing to do with you, who you are at your core, who Boyce Watkins is. You strip the money away, then what you're saying is, yes, I can't get a woman. See, the one question I would ask you, Boyce, is, would your now wife had married you if you were just a guy who made $100,000 a year? See, that's when you can say somebody is in it for the right reasons. See, when you start saying, yo, we trying to build something and a legacy. No, she's looking for a stepfather. And she's looking to secure her future at this point. And she secured the bag. And that's fine. That's fine if you're okay with admitting that's why she married you. If you're not willing to admit that, even though I know you're not willing to admit that, then again, you've been intellectually dishonest and disingenuous, because that's not a conversation then you want to really have with people. At its core, when you guys was on the same level, no money, no anything, 19, 20 years old, like she said, I heard her say it already. No, I wouldn't have never dated you. So it took for you, as you say, you're worth $8 million. It took for you to be worth that, for her to then come back, bring her 3 children with her and say, now, boys, you're worthy of me spreading my legs for you. That's the value she put on her vagina for you, $8 million. That's what she told you it was worth. When dude who she married was doing it for free. Think of that.
Having to play with Michael Jordan, having people ridicule you and dog you and say terrible things that should never be said to a child. And I apologize for that. I'm very sorry that you went through that. But I was not one of those people. I never made fun of you. I would have defended you. I would have supported you. I would not have attacked you.
Wouldn't have supported or defended because you wouldn't have been running in the same circles, boys. You would have been laughing right along with everybody else. Because that's just the type of guy, that's how socially awkward that guy is. The so-called educated lane, the so-called black intellect, the so-called black nerd. He's the epitome of the go along, get along guy. And you want me to tell you how? I'm explaining to you how he's the epitome of it. Because all he does is soak up the knowledge that was taught to him in school. Everything he comes back to regurgitate is what was taught to him by who? Even though boys keep saying this is white supremacy, this is beneath me. Everything that was taught to you by white supremacists. The whole educational system is white supremacy. The whole educational system, everything you learning is white supremacy, boys. You gotta be shitting me with the stuff you're talking about right now. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious, man. Even when you say entrepreneurship and owning your own, do we really own our own? Do you really? When you paying taxes, have you ever asked yourself, when you paying taxes, what you're actually paying taxes on? Who you paying taxes to? Basically, you paying rent. You paying property taxes, you paying rent. So now you have to ask yourself, who owns the deed to Chicago that you have to pay rent for land that you own? Who owns that? Somebody owns this. If you're paying rent, somebody owns this. Who owns it? Again, if we can get more black wealth, black ownership, black entrepreneurship ain't the problem in black America. As a culture, we're just uncivilized. That's the problem. We don't know how to behave. We don't know how to maneuver and not kill each other at the sign of one disagreement. That's our problem. You should be able to live even if you was in an impoverished neighborhood, there's no reason to have pop bottles sitting on the ground. McDonald's wrapping sitting all over the ground. Grass unmanicured. There's no reason to have to live like that. There's no reason to have pissy hallways. Why are you pissing in your hallways? There's no reason to have to live like that. Those communities shouldn't have to be like that. See, that ain't got nothing to do with money. That's about commonplace and that's about common decency at this point in time. You should be able to go out this past weekend. 8 people shot, 9 people shot, 1 person killed just in one place. Should be able to go out and party, man. Shouldn't have to worry, but you guys get offended when I say savage. And this is again when I say things hurt your feelings. But you always have to ask yourself, why does the truth hurt your feelings? See, everybody wants you to put a nice bow on everything going on around in the culture and why it's like this, when it shouldn't have to be like that. But you'll keep screaming wealth, wealth, wealth. You could give everybody all of the money in the world, right? Like I said, you can give every adult in Black America $10 million. And in 5 years, you want me to tell you what the conversation will be in Black America? Hey, man, it was the system, man. It's the way it was designed to be, man. I got out there, I bought this house, I bought this. They give you all these images and all of this to do this and that and this. Yeah, it's the same system you're educated in. And before I get back to this, I'll let you know how early all of this actually starts. When you're raising your child, I've made this analogy before. You see a child 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. You guys go on roller coasters. You go to these buildings that's 70 stories high. You even go to rooftop, look down. What they say, man, I wish I could fly. And I wonder what it would take to fly. Even then, if I fall, I bet you I could figure out a way to kind of grab something and all of that. Now, by the time you take that same kid at about age 10 or 11 back to the edge of the roof, guess what they say? Daddy, can we step back? This is dangerous up here. I might die. The indoctrination has happened already. Party over.
So why are you consistently attacking me when I did nothing to you at all? All I said was, if you put the N-word in your video title, white folks gonna take it down. Somehow you construed that to mean that I was somehow letting YouTube know. I'm secretly informing YouTube about their own algorithms. Like YouTube doesn't fucking know their own algorithms. They don't know their own processes, their own procedures. But somehow, because I did it on my little tiny channel, I did because I said it, that somehow YouTube is gonna say, "Oh, that's right. That's right. We do actually have a rule that says if you put hate speech in your title, we can take the video down." Are you serious, brother? Are you serious? And don't tell me to stick to finance, Quentin, because you're gonna get banned from the channel. If you do that, I want you to know, if you say something like that, I'm not. I told you guys from the jump, I am not.
There you go again. If you don't agree with me, you gotta go.
I'm a finance professor who happens to be Black. I'm a Black man who happens to be a finance professor. So if you come in here and tell me to stick to finance, that's just like telling a Black man to shut up and dribble. I am not here to shut up and dribble. I told you guys, and I'm not on the internet because I'm trying to somehow because I need to be here. I do not need to be here. There are plenty of places a PhD can be that has plenty of money that do not involve dealing with this kind of nonsense. So just stop that. Just know I have moderators. If you keep doing that, they will ban you. They will kick you out of this platform. You will be gone. Being here is a privilege. It's not a right. I'm not looking to get followers or to become popular. One thing I understood from the very beginning when I started talking about stuff in the Black community was this. My goal was to never be popular. In fact, I don't like being too popular at all. That is not my goal. Because when you start becoming popular in our community, it's usually because you also...
So you don't like being popular, yet you clout chase. Yet you want Charlemagne on videos. Yet you want Ice Cube on videos. Yet you want to go on platforms. Here, you got almost 300,000 subscribers. So it's not a small channel, boys. It's one of the biggest channels on YouTube, if we're being honest. You don't like being popular, but it's wedding videos all over the internet. Every move you make is all over the internet. It's all over social media. The so-called nigger net, as you like to say. Black love, negativity. So you need that black dollar to support what you're doing, but you really don't want to be bothered with the nigger net and negativity. I don't want to be popular, but I got 20,000 Instagram posts. I don't want to be popular and I don't like the attention, but I got 4,000 YouTube videos. That's kind of why you don't see me a lot on YouTube. I'm still wrestling with that at this point. I don't want to give up my anonymity. I keep telling my wife that. I've had enough attention growing up, being out in the streets, playing basketball, playing sports, all of that. I don't really like the attention. I don't like having to be around in circles where I have to be gauging who's who and what is what. What is your intention? What's not your intention? I still am having a struggle with that. But I do understand at some point when this goes full throttle, that's it. And it won't be about being popular or whatever. It's just that's what's going to come with the territory at that point. But again, this is when I tell you, he's intellectually disingenuous and dishonest. He's a liar.
Bullshit. If you become overly popular in the Black community, it's usually because you're like Lizzo shaking your obese ass in front of white people. If you are popular in the Black community.
See that? I don't crack jokes. There go another shot. You don't have to call Lizzo obese. You was just obese a few months ago. Until your wife got you in the gym. But see, these are the things when I keep saying, if you meet a guy like this, wouldn't be nothing but humble in front of you.
It's because you're a comedian putting on a wig and a dress and telling jokes. If you're popular in our community, it's because you're an athlete or a rapper who's rapping about Black people's genocide. If you're popular in our community, it's because you are glorifying ignorance. If you're overly popular in the community, it's usually because white folks have put you on TV. If you are popular in our community, it's usually because you are engaged in some sort of toxic, self-destructive behavior that we become addicted to because we don't know any better. We have no standard. We don't know how to sit down like men and say, okay, how do we get past our egos and work this out so that we can move forward and become the better people? We have no standard. We don't.
Now, again, remember when I told you the nerd and the problem he has? See all of the people he talked about? The comedian, the rapper, the athlete. Those are all considered what when you're in high school? The cool kids. And that is the root of all of this. Then I tell you I was going to wrap it up in a nice bow for you, man. Look at that. Week before Father's Day. It's nice and pretty too, man. That's at the root of all of this. It's their hatred for that group of men. Whether that group of men, he's saying the comedian, they don't have anything to offer. Who are you to say you have more to offer than them? But this is again when I tell you, they'll go to your plaque and say white supremacy is out here and they out to get us. But guess what they want to show you? I want to show you my degrees from white supremacy, y'all. Huh? I need my medication. Yeah. I want to show you all of my degrees from white supremacy. This is what validates me. Because if you take the degrees away, you have to ask yourself, who were you? Who were you before the degrees? Before you could say, I'm Dr. So-and-so, or I got a master's in this. Who are you at your core? Because see, when you die, the degrees don't really mean nothing. The legacy you're going to leave is the stories that's being told. When people sit around, what will be the final words? What will be the jewels they say you left for society when it's over? Well, they say, yeah, he taught me how to make money, but yeah, as a person, he was a rotten ass human being. Probably not the way you want to be remembered, man. But again, like I said, you'll see the nerd, the so-called socially awkward. Well, that's what they are. It's not so-called. The educated lane, the Black nerd, the Black intellect. Their issue is that the athlete, the drug dealer, the gangbanger, the comedian, and the rapper. They have a hatred for them. And they love to tell you, yo, it's because you buffoons and you don't dress like this. Well, you only dressing in suits. because that's what white men told you to dress like. You're dressing like that to be like them. That's the epitome of white. So you're saying you're fighting against something, but you want to join it. That's what you portray every day. Every day that you look down and you say, I'm not an elitist, you have to keep saying, I'm not an elitist. I don't look down on people because of my degree. That's all white supremacy is, man. But you're going to get it one day, boys. You just probably never had no mama's cooking growing up.
Don't know how to sit down like men and say, okay, how do we get past our egos and work this out so that we can move forward and become the better people? We don't have that. We don't have that. But still, we get you got mama's cooking. You got mama's cooking. Oh, you gonna keep your name out your mouth. You got mama's cooking. Really? You sound like a 12-year-old. Like, are you? Wait, you said you're 30? What? Yeah, no. Y'all, when you're talking like that, just know if you ever want to know why people don't respect you, or don't respect our community, it's because we've allowed the children to lead the community. I'm not talking about.
Again, now I want to ask you, when he keeps saying fighting against white supremacy and the white man, whose respect is he looking for? When he says that's why they don't respect our community, who is they? See, people have a funny way of saying they fighting against white supremacy, yet all you want is white acceptance. So if you want white acceptance, you're not really fighting white supremacy, man. You want to be a part of the system and just say that. It's okay. But again, that's another shot. Because what he say? I'm calling a 38-year-old man now. I'm telling him he acts like he's 12.
Kwame is a child. I'm not saying he's one of the children, but I am saying that he's a brother that clearly has a talent. He clearly has a voice. He's clearly got a lot of influence. And all I've seen is that influence is being used for destructive purposes. It's being used for division. Because you guys have never, ever once, since Umar, the only time you ever saw me do a video like this was in 2015 when Umar Johnson did the same damn thing. Instead of talking to me like a man, instead of getting on the phone with me like a man and working out the differences, his ego led him to say, well, I'm not going to talk to him, but I'm going to put up.
You called Umar. You basically said he was still in front of people and his school wasn't going to never open. See, this is when I can say I could tell how you were raised and who you were raised by. You don't get a chance to, this ain't no Martin Luther King stuff, man. You don't get a chance to smack somebody and have a condescending comment and then come back and say, well, I'm trying to apologize and talk to you like a man so we can sit down. No. And excuse me for what I'm getting ready to say, but no, fuck you, man. That's it. We don't get a chance to, ain't no coming back from that, man. You don't get a chance to disrespect somebody and then say, well, you ain't a man now because you don't want to sit down with me and talk. This is beneath me. No, that's not how that works. You disrespect me, I'll decide if we're going to sit down now and talk. And if the disrespect went too far, then guess what? You don't get a chance to sit down and apologize. And I don't have to accept it. You can apologize till the cows come home. Then. But I don't have to accept it. Nobody has to accept your apologies, boys. Next question you should ask yourself is, why can't you communicate with other black men without being disrespectful where you have to apologize? What are you saying when you have to keep apologizing? How are you saying something that you have to keep apologizing? Is my tone off? Is my words off? But this is when I keep telling you, the black intellect, the black nerd, the so-called educated lane, it's not that they don't know how to be in a relationship with women, and it's why I say it's socially awkward. They don't know how to be in a relationship with people, period. They're loners. That's just their issue. They don't know how to communicate with people. They're always asking you, yo, is my tone off? You think I said that a little too harsh? You think I said that too rough? I have a saying. If you got to ask me, you probably were in the wrong with that.
A meme up and make fun of them in a meme. I'm going to do a video. That's little girls, that's teenager stuff. That's you're behaving like a child. I want to be with the grown men and the grown women. And I know that I know I'm not going to be popular after this. I know I'm going to have people I know, just so you know, if you're trolling, don't waste your time trolling me. I get big.
Now, before he did this video, he's saying, he wasn't going to be popular. He made it because of the heat he's been getting. Boyce turned off the comments and everything. And it's because he couldn't handle what was coming in the kitchen. It got too hot for him. But I'm going to give you some advice, boys. Don't even read the comments. Just go on about your business. Put your video down there, make your content, and go on about your day. If you can't handle what's being said, just don't read it. But see, when you turn the comments off, again, lets me know you're a beta, you soft, you weak. You can't handle the heat at that point. So you're not in a position then to start telling people how to act like a man. Because that's not man stuff to avoid that. A man don't turn the comments off. If you say, yo, this platform is public, then it's public to the people, why you turn the comments off? Let them have their opinion on what you're saying. If you feel strong about it, then you stand on what you're saying. And that's just it.
You got more important people to troll. But I'm going to tell you, I already know what's going to happen. I already know that when I get done talking about this, I'm going to have some people that will be like, well, we're disappointed in you, Doc, or you need to keep his name out your mouth. So I'm going to lose a lot of support off this. But I give zero fucks about any of that. You know why? Because I'm drawing a line in the motherfucking sand. I literally am saying.
Now that right there, that's Dr. Alicia talking. She already told him. He was in that bed asleep. And I know she woke you up and said, boys, put that bathrobe on, get you a cup of coffee, tie your gym shoes up or tie them army boots up. Get downstairs on that microphone and you go defend yourself and you go defend the honor of this family. Otherwise, you ain't getting none of Dr. Alicia's cooking. And you know what she mean.
Let's draw this line. Those of y'all that want to come with me, come with me. Those of y'all that want to stay back in the nonsense, stay there. And I wish you the very best because this stuff is stupid. I did my best to help this guy. I did my best to be supportive. I was trying my best to be friends. And this nonsense is coming up. And so that's my 2 cents on the issue. If you want to know what I think, that's what I think. I haven't watched the entirety of any of his videos. I told you guys, I got more important things to sit around watching YouTube videos. And I watch a little bit of Kwame stuff, but it doesn't really add any value to my life. Honestly, it's comedy, right? But again, Black people get enough comedy. We have enough entertainment. That's why we don't get nothing done because you're always sitting around looking for entertainment. I want education. I want to grow. I want my kids to have a good life. I want to be successful. I want to overcome racism. I don't want the white man with his foot on my neck. I want to have some power. So at the end of the day, those are my people.
See, you know what?
And if the people think it's elitist, then fuck it. Maybe we need to start becoming elite and start seeing Black excellence as something that we deserve instead of thinking that we got to start from the bottom. Why the hell? What's wrong with a Black person having some goddamn?
Now again, he just finally admitted to you he was an elitist. Took him this whole video. Took him 24 minutes in to finally come back around. Throughout it, I'm not an elitist. This is beneath me. When people keep talking about somebody's not sharp enough for them, they're an elitist.
Black pride. Why the fuck is Black pride elite? You think that's elitist to say, I'm proud to be Black. I want to be special. I want to be successful. I want to read a goddamn book.
You don't have Black pride. You stated already. Majority of Black people are dumb. Only 10%. You stated that already. Only 10% are worth saving to you. 10% you can have a conversation with. So you don't have no Black pride. You already stated that. Stepfathers raised all of the Black boys out here. They ain't got no daddies. That's what you already stated. All they want to do is be entertained by comedians, rappers, and ball players. They not coming to you for the information, so they don't have any. You don't have any Black pride at all. All you do is look down. And you know why you look down? Because you feel comfortable with that degree. That degree, that doctorate, it makes you feel like for the first time in your life, you were somebody. Guess what you had? A title. I can say, I'm Dr. Boyce. This is beneath me. Yeah, but to everybody else, you still just Boyce, man. Everybody you grew up with, you still Boyce. To people who cool with you, you just Boyce, man.
Don't want to sit around and just engage in all the same backward behavior that mess up our people. I want to do something better with myself. So if people think that's elitist, then just call me an elite motherfucker, because that's what the fuck I'm going to be. And I'm looking for the other elite people out there. So anyway, I'm going to go. And thank you, Brixton, babe. I see you. Thank you for your donation.
Now, to wrap this all up in a bow, Boyce is one of those guys who was bullied and never given power. And now he's given power. And you know who else is an elitist? A lot of the cops who end up killing unarmed black people, unarmed white people, unarmed people of color, period. They were picked on their whole life, and they was given the power of that gun. And at that point, guess what it was? You got to listen to me. Oh, yeah, you going to listen to me. I'm the boss now. That's why I keep saying daddy so much. That's why I keep saying daddy so much. At this point, he feels like he has power. And you want me to tell you what gave him all that power? It's when he was finally able, 30 years later, to say, the one who got away, I married her. She chose me now. She chose me. Boyce was a pick-me. She chose me. Granted, she left you and didn't give you none when y'all was in college. Went and had 3 children. Got expanded. Got divorced. Came back to you. But she did choose you. She didn't choose you in her prime, her peak. You know, you got Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan. They ain't bad. Not bad at all. Not bad. No, he wasn't efficient no more, but he still wasn't a clown. And you know, Dr. Alicia, she's not an ugly woman at all. Ain't bad. But that's what you got. You got somebody who basically told you, and it's what I've talked about in previous episodes on my show. When these women are done playing, they've had their 2, 3, 4 children. And even though Dr. Alicia was married, the point was she didn't pick you. She doubled back after she went and had her fun, had her marriage. You know, respect her privacy. She was open about everything else. Haven't really said why they got a divorce. But like I said, she doubled back and chose you at the end, 30 years later. Now, she never even called you her first love. And the one thing I've always noticed about you guys' situation, observing it, you always say how beautiful she is, how much you love her, all of that. The only thing I've heard about her is, yeah, I had work to be done. Boyce needed to get his teeth done. He had to lose some weight. So she turned you into something she could lay down with at night. You basically was her pet project. Now she got you walking around, and that's cool. Y'all exercising together, that's cool. But you walking around in sandals and a fanny pack on with a t-shirt tucked into your shorts. Like, dog, you just out here looking like a clown, man. And you telling other black men, yo, yeah, I'm a real man because I'm a stepfather. That is a real man being a stepfather. I definitely agree with you. Just not in the fashion in which you did it. If that's a relationship you weren't previously in, or I wasn't dubbed, she dubbed you and then came back and got you. But like I said, I've never heard her say you were handsome, Boyce. She never smiles. And when she stares at you, I saw her smile harder gazing at Willie D at your wedding photos than I have seen her with you. And another thing, when you out partying, while you talking about manhood, men don't dance with their shoes off, boys. You don't take your shoes off and walk around with your socks on, dog. That's what women do at a wedding. they take the heels off because they've been walking around in them all day. You should have some bigger shoes on your feet, or you can go have a seat, man. But you don't just dance around and squirm around with no shoes on, man. You're better than that. But like I say, that's the division between the so-called black nerd, black intellect, the educated lame, and the so-called cool guy. Boyce is the epitome of where that hatred comes from and why that hatred exists. Told y'all I would never do one like this again. I'm sorry this one went that long. For those who follow me on YouTube, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button. This one went 2 hours, but it's your boy, the Hood Nerd. I'm out.